Hello, sweet parents. Welcome to the When Our Adult Children Walk Away podcast. My name is Dr. Janet Steinkamp, and during each episode of When Our Adult Children Walk Away, I will provide my professional and personal insights, information and opportunities for your self-reflection and growth, tips and tricks to make every day count, and encouragement to keep moving forward. I'm here to help you dig deep and get down to the root causes so that you can find your way out of the darkness to a positive and lasting relationship. Grab your notebook and a pen, settle into your favorite chair, and let's get to it. In this episode, we are looking at 8 healthy and emotionally charged realities of launching our adult children. Let's begin by acknowledging that loneliness is a major aspect of raising children into young adulthood. We begin to fall to the wayside. We see them less and less. They become more involved in their lives beyond us. And that's even when our relationship isn't on the continuum of estrangement. That's natural, normal, maturing independence. And our experience emotionally as parents can be very complex. You know, we're happy to see them begin to make relationships. We worry when they don't have friends, when they isolate themselves, when they don't go to the school functions. We want to see them involved. And yet, we are on the sidelines. As our adult children move through those early young adult years and begin to approach full adulthood, we often can fall into what's called an empty nest syndrome. This is a common phenomenon when parents feel a deep sense of loss and loneliness after our adult children leave home. The family dynamic drastically changes, and we begin to feel like we've lost our significance. Our daily lives become quiet. We may find ourselves with some idle time. Letting our adult children know that they're missed and thought of is healthy, it's reasonable. It's the delivery that can be tricky in this empty nest syndrome. It's the calling during the day when we know they're in class. It's leaving a text 7 times in a week, or in a day, or in an hour. I once worked with a mom who said, now her adult child had gone total no contact. No communication at all. The request had been made very clearly. As a reaction, the mom was determined to text her child every day for 365 days for a year. What we worked on was understanding that every text she sent was lengthening the time of estrangement, was pushing her adult child away, and was communicating the lack of respect. We have a shift in our parental role as our adults become more independent. The dynamic between us and them changes, and we're no longer involved in their day-to-day caregiving and decision-making. This can be very emotionally challenging. I mean, I have to claim it myself. I often feel invisible, unnecessary, ignored, jealous. I feel like there's some reason this information is being kept from me. And the fact is, nothing's being kept from me intentionally to make me feel bad or as a secret. It's simply that my adult children are living their own lives. And I'm fortunate that my adult children are patient with me when I become needy. It's the neediness. It's the weight of our need for them to satisfy our insecurities that becomes problematic, that feels like weight to them. And the third thing that happens is that our social support and our social networks change. I remember when our daughter graduated from high school, she was a very active soccer player in high school. And we were, of course, at every game, brought treats, went on trips to competitive soccer matches, very involved in the social network of parents around that soccer team. When she graduated, we thought we would continue to go to those soccer matches. They were still our friends. They still were people we cared about and enjoyed being with. At the first game we went to, people didn't know what to do with us. They were working to include the new parents coming in. And the parents of the graduates really held no place, right? We needed to move on. We were so struck by that. We were so caught off guard. That social network was so important to us. We still connected with these people often, but that was not the place for us to do it. We needed to adjust and adapt. As a result, there is a significant change in our identity. First, we lose a lot of our identity. We lose that identity as a parent. We lose that identity with the people around us. So much of our social network is based on our children and their lives growing up through young adulthood. Our identity is so closely braided into our child growth that we have to give up that identity as we move with them into full adulthood. We may see that there are geographical differences. This is the fifth factor that we are talking about. It's healthy for adult children to move away, maybe for education, for work, for other opportunities. Maybe they simply want to try living in a different space. Maybe they move to the coast, they move to a big city. That is normal and natural. The geographical distance is a part of the reality of our children growing into adulthood. We may decide that we want to change our geographic location. We relocate and redefine ourselves as we retire. So it does go both ways, and yet we want to be close to our grandchildren. It's natural for our adult children to move closer to parents, to have some support and help when they start raising their children. These are kind of the ebb and flow of geographic distances and how they can change and evolve as our adult children grow into their own lives. I have a friend whose daughter, when she got married, she married a man whose parents lived right down the street from them. And the mom of the young woman lived maybe an hour away. And my friend really needed to learn not to be jealous, not to feel like they were at a loss because they were not right down the street. They didn't have the easy and regular access to this new couple. She did a beautiful job. She really understood the difference and made some changes in her life so she could have more contact with her daughter and her new husband. And what she found was when there were family struggles in the other family, she was far enough away that she could remain objective, that she was the confidant, that it strengthened her relationship with her daughter. Very different aspect of the relationship. She didn't expect it. She didn't anticipate it. She let the relationship evolve naturally. Now, she talked to her friends when she felt bad, when she felt threatened. She talked to her friends about it. She had a circle she could talk to. It wasn't her daughter. That relationship changed. So that geographic distance can work to our advantage. Another healthy and emotionally charged change is in our communication. Sometimes as our adult child gets busy with their life, they need us to pull back. They need us not to have that constant communication. Now, if you talk about it, as we did with our daughter, I said to her, I need to stop texting you. I said to my son on occasion, wow, I know I'm pestering you. I realized I texted you more than once yesterday. I will pull back. I want you to know I recognize that. In both cases, their response was that it doesn't bother us. Just don't expect us to respond. We can't respond to all those communications. I think that was very gracious of them. I know if it were happening to me, it would drive me crazy. So I need to curb my behavior to protect and respect their relationship and their life. I need to honor their new position in life as an adult. And so now I start making a list in an email of all the things I want to talk to them about in a week. And maybe at the end of the week or on Monday, I will refine that email to a nice communication and send them that email. Doing this gives me a tool to feel connected and express or ask questions or bring up interesting things that happened during the week, and do it in a way that is not overwhelming to them and still meets my need to share. So another area, number 7, is worries and concerns. We worry about our adult children. We worry about their jobs. We worry about their health. We worry about their decisions, and we worry about them as our parents may have worried about us, but they didn't necessarily express it to us. Or maybe they did, and the expectation was that we would listen. What we can expect from our adult children in this culture today is different. Again, it can feel like weight to our adult children that they need to attend to our needs. And what they are asking from us is for us to be independent and satisfy our need to worry in other places. Visit with our friends, visit with our neighbors, visit with our trusted confidants, and process our worries, but not to expect to do that with them. They want to make their own mistakes, and they need to know that we believe in them, that they have the right to their own space, their own privacy, and for them to seek counsel where they want to seek counsel. I say to my daughter now as an adult, do you think it's a good idea to do XYZ? And she can explain, yes, I do. This is why I'm doing it. And I know that's all. That's all I can do. That's all I can ask. And then if a friend of hers says that same thing, asks that same question, she's open to consideration. She will respond and make that change. It's baffling to me that I can say something and it makes no sense to her. Someone else can say the same thing and it makes perfect sense to her. That's part of being an independent adult child in today's world. And that's part of me being a parent to her, being able to understand and respect that and keep that in perspective. So number 8 is as we age and as health concerns come into our lives, we may face worries about whether they will be there for us, whether they will recognize that we need them to pay attention to us in our advancing age. What we hear from adult children is that it's the period of time between when they grow independent of us in their early adulthood through their maturing adulthood until we begin to approach the years where we begin to decline in health and need alternative living assistance, or we grow into a place where we do need their engagement. Our adult children tell us they're planning to re-engage. They will re-engage. They need that space in between their dependence on us and when we were primary in their lives to when we really need them to engage with us again. They need that space. They need that time to live their lives and establish their lives in the way they want to. So it's not that they want to leave us forever. We hear in the research that they want to come back to us, that they will return and understand that they have a role in our later stage of life. That doesn't mean that we can expect them to take care of us financially, emotionally, physically. It does mean that they will be present in our lives in a responsible manner. So we can have those conversations with them. What does it look like? What should I plan to do in relation to what your responsibilities are in your adult life and your new family? Those are reasonable and mature conversations to have. And there are some great strategies to initiate those conversations and prepare for our later years as their parents in relation to their professional lives, their family lives, can really seek that emotional connection and that plan with them. We can have healthy conversations and dialogues around those topics in a way that is not threatening or scary. And it can be confirming for us. It can be reassuring. So again, 8 healthy and emotionally charged realities of launching our adult children and stepping back into that parent-partner role, the empty nest syndrome, the shift in our parental role, our change in social support and social network, the loss of our identity as their primary person, the caregiver in their lives, maybe geographical distances or changes, communication challenges, and a shift in the amount and consistency of communication. What does respectful communication look like now in their adulthood versus when they were adolescents and young adults? What are their worries and concerns, and what role do we have in those? And what are our worries and concerns, and how do we navigate those now as a parent partner? And how do we prepare for our later years and declining health with our adult children? How do we do that in a constructive and mature, respectful manner? Our adult children tell us they don't want to feel responsible until we really need them. They want us to be responsible for our happiness and to recognize that they are living in a very fast-paced, high-pressured, and demanding world. They need us to have our own purpose and to find joy and happiness and satisfaction beyond having them in our lives. I'm so happy you made it to the end of this episode today. If you're feeling a bit more hopeful and like what you've heard here, please share this podcast with someone who you know is also struggling as a parent in their relationship with their adult child or other family member, and who could use some hope, help, and healing. If you have a second, I'd love it if you'd leave me a thumbs up, click on the word follow, and head on over to the When Our Adult Children Walk Away website. So until next time, my friends, be brave, be kind to yourselves, and stay hopeful.